Welcome. Literary Terms Part 2. Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia refers to words that sound like the thing they're referring to. Well-known instances of onomatopoeia include whiz, buzz, snap, grunt, etc. Example: the excellent children's book, Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long, he hears, click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo.
Oxymoron.
An oxymoron comes from two contradictory words that describe one thing. While juxtaposition contrasts two story elements, oxymorons are about the actual words you are using. Example: parting is such sweet sorrow. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare.
Parallelism.
Parallelism is all about your sentence structure. It's when similar ideas, sounds, phrases, or words are arranged in a way that is harmonious or creates a parallel, hence the name. It can add rhythm and meter to any piece of writing and can often be found in poetry. Example: that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Neil Armstrong.
Tautology. A tautology is when a sentence or short paragraph repeats a word or phrase, expressing the same idea twice. Often, this is a sign that you should trim your work to remove the redundancy, such as frozen eyes, but can also be used for poetic emphasis. Example: but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door. The Raven, by Edgar Allan Poe. Soliloquy. Soliloquy involves a character speaking their thoughts aloud, usually at length, and often in a Shakespeare play. The character in question may be alone or in the company of others, but they're not speaking for the benefit of other people. The purpose of a soliloquy is for a character to reflect independently. Example: Hamlet's "to be or not to be" speech, in which he ruminates on the nature of life and death, is a classic dramatic soliloquy. Tragic comedy. Tragicomedy is just what it sounds like, a blend of tragedy and comedy. Tragicomedy helps an audience process darker themes by allowing them to laugh at the situation even when circumstances are bleak. Example: Lemony Snicket's a series of unfortunate events uses wordplay, absurd situations, and over-the-top characters to provide humor in an otherwise tragic story. Analogy. An analogy connects to seemingly unrelated concepts to show their similarities and expand on a thought or idea. They are similar to metaphors and similes, but usually take the comparison much further than either of these literary devices, as they are used to support a claim rather than provide imagery. Example: it has been well said that an author who expects results from a first novel is in a position similar to that of a man who drops a rose petal down the Grand Canyon of Arizona and listens for the echo. Archetype. An archetype is a universal symbol that brings familiarity and context to a story. It can be a character, a setting, a theme, or an action. Archetypes represent feelings and situations that are shared across cultures and time periods, and are therefore instantly recognizable to any audience. For instance, the innocent child character, or the theme of the inevitability of death. Example: Superman is a heroic archetype, noble, self-sacrificing, and drawn to righting injustice whenever he sees it. Climax. The point of highest tension in a story, in which the main conflict is faced and ultimately resolved. In William Golding's Lord of the Flies, The climax occurs after Ralph and Piggy demand that Jack return Piggy's stolen glasses. When Jack Stripe kills Piggy and forces Ralph to flee into the jungle, it becomes clear that Jack has triumphed over Ralph in their struggle for supremacy on the island. Epigram. A brief, witty, satirical statement that is generally memorable on account of being paradoxical, humorous, or poetic. Irish writer Oscar Wilde coined numerous epigrams, like this one from The Picture of Dorian Gray, for there is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. Euphemism. A figure of speech that softens an unpleasant or offensive idea by substituting a polite phrase instead. In Neil Shusterman's sci-fi novel Arc of a Scythe, people called scythes are professionally trained in the art of gleaning, a euphemism for selectively killing other people to keep human population growth in check. Thanks for watching.